Hi,
back.
Heidi.
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good, and you?
Yeah, so
Perfect.
how's it going there? Are you in Miami, right?
Yes, I am.
Cool. How's it going? How's the weather there? Here it's like really strange.
It's pouring outside, so I don't know how
Oh,
my audio sounds, but it's very rainy. One day it's
oh
sunny, and the
no.
next day it's rainy.
Oh, right. Okay, so it changes.
You're in London, right?
Yeah, it's the same. And as yeah, it's proper London weather where you can't trust it. Yeah. So Heidi, it's great. I have the pleasure to ask you a few questions because I've ever since Barcelona, I feel really inspired by you.
Thank
Um,
you.
there's a few things which really stood out in Barcelona for me. And the first one was you've got three kids and you look so hot. Like I was like, oh my God. So I have to say that. And
Thank you.
secondly, you just take everything by the stride. They're all different ages, and you still were out there doing your thing, making a mark on, and trying different things, learning new things. I know at a certain age and a stage in life, people stop, but you're like on full power, girl. You're doing really well.
Thank you.
So, so tell me, I know you were in a job once upon a time. What made you transition to quitting a so-called safety net? People find their jobs as their safety nets, right?
Well, to be honest with you, I've always had the entrepreneur's mindset. There's only two corporate jobs I've had in my life, and that was when I was transitioning personally to either being married to being single. And sometimes we think that going the corporate route and working for somebody else, it is the easy way out, to be honest with you. You do your job, you get your paycheck. My last job, I was lead sales and aesthetics, high-end aesthetics clinics. And as a sales job, you pretty much have to live in the job.
Yeah.
Um, it was, to be honest with you, it was a burden for me. I had to pay one person to bring my daughter to work. You know, in Coral Gables, we were in the same area, so I had to pay one person to bring my daughter to work. I had to pay somebody else to bring my son home. I paid a babysitter to pick up my little one from daycare and stay with her until I got home. And sometimes I would even get home and her diaper was not even changed. I would spend so much money in babysitting, sitting pretty much almost the same amount as my rent. And I was never there for my kids. I had no home life. I had no family life. I had no quality life with my children. I was pretty much, I had to work, work, work because I had to make my quota. I had to make my sales. And um, being an entrepreneur, finally making the decision of, okay, this is not for me. It has never been for me, but I've seen it now. I lived the experience. Now I know how it is. And transitioning from just being on my own, as hard as it can be, you know, the easy way is never the best way. The hardest
Yeah.
route, it's always the right way, and it's the one going to get you to your goals. So, you know, going the hard way and being by myself, finding the way to make it happen, you know, as an entrepreneur and a mom has so many advantages of it. I take my kids to school. I pick them up from school. And I don't choose whatever school they may have here by the area. I take them to far public private schools because I do not even believe in the public school system. I take my little one to the best daycare in the area. I always go out of my way to find the best way for my children and for myself. And being working on my own and being an entrepreneur on a passion that I have has been one of the best life decisions that I've made, to be honest with you.
Was it hard, the transition from moving to a fixed income to not so fixed?
Definitely, definitely. I prepared myself first. I had to, you know, I saved up money. And one of the things that I always do, and it's, you know, it's actually, it's a good advice. I always plan ahead. So before I transitioned to leaving and quitting my job, I always had a few months planned ahead. I
Okay.
knew I was
Okay.
going to have all my bills paid for 3 to 6 months ahead. And I knew
Right.
that in the next 2 to 3 months, I was going to get a certain amount of money where I knew my bills would be backed up. And it's the same way that I
Right.
live right now, honestly. I always have in mind the money that I'm going to be receiving, whether it's this month or in 3 months or whatever, because I cannot live with an everyday paycheck and everyday life and then just going to, I couldn't handle that stress. And part of being an entrepreneur and working for yourself, you need to always plan ahead and always you have to know what income is going to be coming in.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And how do your children see it? How do they see you differently?
To be honest with you, I have from my oldest one, my little one is very small, so she doesn't understand. And thank you for asking me that question because I was even thinking about something like that before. My oldest one helped me so much because I have no help from their fathers. My family does not live with me. It's pretty much me and my children. And my oldest ones helped me so much. Right now, my little one is sick. I couldn't take her to daycare, and my son is literally watching her in my room, so I could be doing this live.
Oh, oh, that is so sweet. It
Yeah.
really is teamwork. It is really teamwork.
Yes,
That's
teamwork.
amazing.
And same thing as my oldest one, and if I have to go somewhere, either a business meeting or something that it's, towards the afternoon, or even take my son to his classes. My oldest one babysits my little one. And, we're a team. And that's always what I tell them. As long as we're a team and we're always shooting for the same thing, they support
Yeah.
me and I support them as well.
Yeah. And I think it's so true that if they support you, you'll never ever ever forget those moments. And of
Never.
course, they're like your rock solid backbone because no amount of paid help can do what a family can do.
Yep. Yep.
So, and as you said, you were spending a lot of money on childcare, but it was not worth it.
Nope.
So, Hadis, few people have asked me this question, and so I'm going to ask you. In a job, you know what you're going to get at the end of the month. And even if
Mhm.
you plan ahead as an entrepreneur, you don't know if you're going to have the harvest really well or not, right?
Right.
I'm just kind of comparing it to farming. Uh, so how would you plan ahead? Because it can be quite uncertain.
You have to find different sources of income. When you're starting out and you don't have the base amount of income in that one specific thing that you're trying to achieve, you need to go out of your way, hustle, and find different sources of income because if one thing fails, you have income from another source.
Right. So you have multiple sources of income set already.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. So that's guys, so that's one thing which we need to learn from her. Not one source of income, plenty. So
That's why I can put the time into learning the Forex and I could put the time into the trading part of it and more of the education part because I have the free of mind that I know that I have income coming in from other sources. Whether other
yeah.
investment sources or other, laboral sources that I do on my own as an entrepreneur, but I do have different sources coming in. I could not just be in the loop.
No, that's amazing. So you're doing Forex, and Forex is it's a minefield in its own.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Thank you for asking me that question. Here's the thing. The thing with Forex, I've always said this, and now that I've actually put more time into studying it, once you know the technical analysis from A to Z, all you have to study is the fundamentals because you have to study the markets. Okay. And that is what I've been struggling more is putting more work into studying the markets. Okay. Because it's a daily thing. Now, besides that, with the technicality, here's how I think of Forex. You cannot put your feelings or your emotions into it. So I just see
Hmm.
numbers. I don't see money. I do not see dollar signs. For me, is numbers. So think of Forex as a mathematical equation. You're
Okay.
adding, multiplying, and subtracting numbers. Okay, pips go up, you're adding. Pips go down, you're resting. You're doing math work. That's all you're doing. Does the logical does your insight on it or your prediction on the trade is it logical? Does it make sense? Does 1 plus 1 equals 2? Then you go for the trade. Pretty much. That's it. We do not put, it's not money. For me, it's not money. Remove the dollar signs and just think you're doing math work. And that's when you can remove your emotions out of trading.
Amazing, amazing. So how long have you been learning the skill and using your Forex skills?
Since I joined you guys in February.
Oh, so it's fairly recent. It's not before that. Okay, so you're
Before,
doing really well.
no, before I have studied on my own, back in 2020, to be honest with you, I think I was searching something in IG financial or something, and I was introduced to Forex, and I I did not even know what Forex was. So I started researching, I started learning on my own, different websites, applications, some free YouTube videos and stuff like that. But when I really started to begin practicing trading on my own was February, like with my own money. Before I would just trade on dummy accounts on the MT4 and stuff like that. And I would practice, study the market. I got a lot into crypto. Luckily I sold all my crypto
Okay.
back in November. Yes. I sold
Got
all
out
my
the right
crypto
time.
back in November, so I'm still waiting on the right moment exactly to invest a little bit into it.
Brilliant. So, tell me, one thing which intrigues me is in a job, you're given a task list. As an
Yes.
entrepreneur, you don't have a task list because you make your own
Nope.
task list.
Yep.
It's very easy to have, I'm not going to do this today, days, or give yourself excuses, reasons, or whatever not,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
How do you keep on check?
To be honest with you, I have to live with the schedule. I go somewhere and people think I'm a geek or something because I'm at an appointment or whatever, and I'm trying to make an appointment, and I pull up my phone, pull up my calendar, write that in there, and I make my appointment right there. So I pretty much have an idea of my daily schedule. To be honest with you, it's one of the hardest things to do. Okay.
Mm,
So once you stick to your daily schedule, you have to keep going on track with your schedule and just make it happen and push yourself to
right.
do it.
And how is it easy? Is it hard? Or is that the hardest part,
It's
you
the
think?
hardest part. It is for
Yeah,
me, it's the hardest part. Having that discipline to stick with your schedule. And first of all, the number one thing is you have to have the organizational skills to be able to
hmm,
create the schedule. And not only in the environment, but in your own mind, in your own mindset, you need to have a cold mindset of this. And then after, when you create that schedule, you know, sticking to it is one of the hardest things.
right. Okay, that's brilliant, Heidi. That
And
was a
going
great input.
around in my part is going around working around my kids' schedule too.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
So
you're
it's
kind of
making it
keeping
happen.
everything. So tell me, I know, everyone says, oh, it's not that hard, but just thinking of it, there's a lot of hormones happening in your house. There's two teenagers, and that's yourself, and the younger one turning into a teenager soon, and all that, and a single mom. I mean, yes, I understand it's not easy, but for a single mom with three kids, everyone hormonal, including herself, how is it going?
Sorry, the internet connection got a little cut off. You saying with the
Oh,
hormones
sorry.
with the three kids dealing with three
Yeah,
different ages?
yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, and being a single mom, there is no a backup at home. Like you
There
said, you've got
isn't.
multiple sources of income. It's having a backup of a backup. I believe in that. And in your case, in your real life, as a parent responsibility, you don't really have a backup. So basically, you're not really allowed to call in sick in your mom's job.
No, I mean my everyday backup are my own children, honestly.
Yeah.
And for me to travel and for me to have a social life, weekends at night and stuff like that, yes, I do have, I have friends, that either help me babysit. Because my little one, I still do not trust my oldest one, either overnight or with my kids or whatever. And I also have my mom. So in that sense, for me to like go out at night and have a social life, because definitely after you're done with 3 kids, at the end of the week is like you need to go out and have a drink.
I am
So
sure. I
yes,
am sure.
I call my mom and I'm like, I'm dropping you off, Valentina. I gotta go.
No, that makes sense. Absolutely. So, coming towards the end of this, do you have any tips for us to have a smoother sale, or what would you
A smoother
advise?
sale? Great question. All you have to do is sell yourself. When it comes to sales, if it's a sales job, a smoother sale, all you're gonna do is sell yourself. Be
Mm,
real, be true to yourself, okay? Whatever it is that you're trying to sell, just know the product from A to Z. And even if you don't know the product from A to Z, you always find the way to learn, okay? Because it's happened to me before. One I was selling a laser hair removal to this girl, and she's like, "Oh, but I find it at this other place cheaper than here." So I'm like, "Yes, but the other place is not us. They don't have our benefits." Okay. So
mm-hmm.
what I did was, she's like, oh, "Okay, but they have this type of laser, for example." So what I did was, I got into the computer right then and there. I researched their type of laser, their benefits with our type of laser, our benefits. Okay, I compared and contrast, and I put the value into what we offer and why she's here and why she didn't go with them. You
Oh,
know,
wow. Do
so
your
when
homework.
you're so when you're dealing with a customer or a client right then and there, the number one thing to do is get into them.
Mm,
Get into their own emotion and be true and speak to them as you're speaking to a friend, and be
yeah.
honest with what you're offering. So just as long as you sell yourself and they see the sincerity and the honesty and the ethical honesty, you're always gonna do right by them. It's a no-brainer. It's not even sales. It's just you're just speaking to people, and you're doing a benefit for them. You're helping them. I think the internet, it's a little. I think the internet connection's a little off. Smitty, you got it.
Hey, not
Yeah,
sure what happened. So sorry about
it's
that.
okay. The internet, I think, cut off a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's fine. I think we're going to conclude anyway.
Yeah,
And do you have any tips or advice for anyone?
I do. I think the number one, the most important things, and it's the hardest things that I have been having to work on myself. Number one is discipline, is having that daily discipline to make it happen. Because once you find the tools of, the motivation and stuff like that, you got to have that discipline every day. And number two is, you cannot let your emotions control your everyday life. You cannot let your emotions control your discipline, and not let your emotions control your especially your business or your responsibilities.
Can you exaggerate a bit on that? Or like elaborate, sorry, exaggerate, elaborate.
Elaborate on the emotions.
Yeah,
Like,
how do you
for
not let
example, we're human beings. One day we can feel good, one day we can feel bad. And,
yeah,
we cannot let our emotions on a day that we feel bad about certain scenario or certain things affect our responsibilities, or accept, or inner counter with the responsibilities and discipline we have to have in our daily lives.
absolutely, absolutely. It's amazing. It's so true. It's like life still goes on, so you might as well do it the right way.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's great. Heidi, it has been such a pleasure to talk to you. You're always a pleasure to talk
You
to, and so
too.
much fun to be around. I can't believe it. Like, you were so unwell in Barcelona, but so full of beans still. Like, okay, let's do this. And I was like, oh my God, this girl is like dying. She's so unwell, and she's still up for it. So,
Yeah, definitely. Are you kidding me? I will not let my at that time my headache or whatever. I'm like, I gotta get up and go.
You did really well, and
Thank you.
really appreciate you as a friend,
You
as a business
too.
partner, and really, I think our paths crossed for a reason. I always believe in that. There are no
Definitely.
coincidences. He has a plan.
Definitely.
We just have to go with
Yeah.
that. So glad we met, and let's do
Yeah,
this again
same.
at some point, maybe in a week or 10 days, and see
Definitely,
how it goes.
definitely. And do
Yeah.
another topic. And based on exactly what you say, I always believe we meet. There's people in our lives that we're meant to meet, and you meet everybody for the right reason, for the specific reason, and there's always a reason why you meet someone. So definitely.
Yeah. All right. What are the chances you're in Miami, I'm in London?
Oh, what is it?
What are the chances you're in Miami and I'm in London? We were to meet and go
Tell
to
me about it.
Barcelona together.
The way the universe works. Tell me about it.
But
Dubai,
alrighty.
Dubai is coming up next.
Yeah, I am so excited.
Me too.
All right. Speak to you soon, Heidi. We'll meet
You
again on
too.
iTunes.
Anyways, thank you so much, and we'll get back in touch soon. All right.
Thank you. Take care. Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye bye.